Are there any real common things that you see, common themes that you see when you're out doing, these virtual CISO consultancies? Like what are the main things you see that are common that all organizations can do to improve their cybersecurity? What would it be?
I think when we go in and if we have a situation where we're really, the situations where folks are just trying to be cute with their information security, or they're trying to just do way too much. And it's like they keep building out this perimeter that, let's add this tool and let's add this piece and let's do this. And it's like, there's no backfill in the basics then. No one's actually,
right. No one's patching or doing this.
Yeah. Or they go buy a new tool and then, and they'll come to us and say, hey, we've got this. And we'll say, great. So who's monitoring it? What are the alerts that are
What's the
coming
value? Yeah. Show me how you're actually getting value from this investment you've made.
I know. Yeah. And we've sat there and folks are telling us, well, we need to be looking at next gen, this and that, and and we're sitting here going, when was the last time you actually ran like a patch and vulnerability scanning network?
That's right. That's right.
And so I don't know. I hate to say it's the basics, but it really is. It's like, look at the CIS top 20, grab the top 5, make sure you're good at those forward and backwards before you, before you start doing the next level stuff. I hate to say that. It's just not as fun though. That's the thing, it's
totally. Like, yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah. And that's, we find that, we go to a lot of these trade shows and we're having conversations with CISOs or, security professionals, and we're, and almost the first thing they do is give us a list of the vendors they've got. And I'm thinking that's great, but actually like how effective is that? What's that actually delivering? Like, how does that fit into this, that, and the other? And it's sort of, the vendors you've got does not equal the security you've got. And yet I still just see this too often. And I think also the challenge is we rely so heavily on technology that, and technology is not going to fix your problem if you don't have a strategy. It's just not going to help.
Yeah.
Yes. So if you were to recommend to, a CISO for their first sort of 30, 60, 90, what are the key things that you think they need to think about? What are the main things that matter? How would you approach it? Because I think that's often a challenge. Is it's so daunting for CISO when they first kind of start a new organization. What would the process be from your perspective?
Yeah, that's a great question. We actually ask that of our folks when we're interviewing with them, because it is that it's kind of that high level thinking. What are you going to do? For me, it's almost like any engagement we go through. The first 90 days we say are, the most important. And I think it's whether you're virtual or whether you're a traditional CISO, it's the same thing, right? Understanding the environment you're in, obviously, and for us, not only understanding the environment, but the industry, what information is important. If you're in a highly regulated confidentiality type industry like banking, you have to understand that a breach of customer information is different than if you're in manufacturing, where now it's availability, so that's really, really important. For us, it's always, who are the stakeholders? Who are we, who's going to lead the charge for us at the highest level when we have initiatives that we need to take care of? Who are we going to, can we get the ear of the right person to communicate risk? That's always a big one. And then, we start to trickle down from there. Then it's, okay, assessing risk, understanding, if we know what's valuable, what's going to cost the organization the most amount of money if it's compromised. And we just, work down from there. Policy is always important too. Do we have the rules and structure in place that allow us to be strategic about information security? And then, pen testing and things like that. We always want to see how that's, what the network looks like, what's the health of the workstations, the servers, all those assets as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think that, as you rightly say, I think really the thing that, we see that's most effective is the first thing you need to do is assess what really matters. What is it you're trying to protect? What state of maturity are you in terms of like, your security so far? You see some of these security vendors saying, you need, everyone needs this now. And I'm like, well, maybe not. There actually might be 100 other things they're going to need to do until they get to doing that. That would not be a good step to do that. No point going out buying a top of the range sim if you haven't figured out some of the basics back here. And I think that trying to figure out what is it you need to protect, and what controls and measures have you already got in place, and then you can start to figure out from there what it is that you need to, what matters. We often hear this discussion about whether your strategy should be data centric, whether actually it makes more sense to say, well, here's the information that we're trying to protect, because ultimately that's what matters the most, and then work your way out from there, or whether you start working your way out from the perimeter in. I mean, do you have an opinion on that at all?
It's probably just from the school of thought. In the banking industry, we've always started out with perimeter and kind of work our way in.
Yeah.
In this day and age, though, gosh, it's just there's no perimeter anymore.
There's no perimeter anymore.
Exactly, yeah. Right, so,
yeah.
I think we really have to think, as you said, in the second way, really more. What is that information? Where is it? Because it's all over the place.
That's it. And that's it.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
Exactly
so
it
really gets more and more challenging. I mean, gosh, well, what will it look like, 10 years from now? It's just going to be, right. It's just going to keep getting harder and harder. And we'll look back at the day where it's like, yeah, I remember when it was just this fortress and everything inside of it was safe.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So what do you think? So obviously, we've into a new decade now, which is very exciting. But what do you think is going to be next for cybersecurity? What are the big threats that you think are going to evolve over the coming years?
Oh man,
impossible to know, but
I know. Yeah. I mean, I think the threats that we're seeing. I hate to beat the ransomware drum, but ransomware makes cybersecurity a threat for everybody.
Sure.
It just really does. And I think that hackers and cyber criminals, they're going to keep. That's their moneymaker.
It's money, isn't it? Right.
I don't see any reason for them to come away from that anytime soon. The only way that's going to stop is when we all really start. We all as a front, and when does that happen? That's a long ways away. So I know that's not really crystal ball-esque and giving you anything new. I do think, though, trends in the next decade will be that I do think, to your point earlier, where we're starting to see folks take this a little more seriously. I mean, I even see it at small business levels. I mean, we get phone calls from folks that even 2 years ago would have never dreamed of having a virtual CISO, and they're calling in and going, "Hey, we need someone to kind of help us out here. We realize we lose a lot of money if we're going down over several days." And I think that'll be. I think that's going to be the trend that we're going to see. And I think that's why a virtual CISO really, into the future starts to really gain some even more viability than what it has now, because it's just not going to be possible for those people to hire a full-time in-house CISO. They're going to need a firm to help them take care of that, much like they go to a CPA, much like they go to an attorney to help them with their legal matters. Right. They don't hire those people in-house.
No, it's a good point. No, it's a good point. And I think that, as we said earlier, to have that wealth of expertise of all of the other organizations that you've dealt with that are just like them, I think that really helps in getting that exposure that you need, because quite often a lot of CISOs, it's their, maybe their first or second role as a CISO. So, how much have they really seen in the real world comparison to maybe a virtual CISO as well?